we have it.
I?
How do I? This is a fun one. How do I lose weight? It's what Kurt would have wanted.
Yeah. Kurt knows.
And so there is a specific reason I bring this up. And sorry, podcast listeners, but I am going to share my screen, and so you won't be able to see it. But that is okay. So this past week, I hit a milestone. Here is a before and after picture. On the left is from Dragon Con, so Labor Day weekend. And on the right is from Tuesday, 2 days ago.
Wow.
So since Dragon Con, I have lost 100 pounds.
That's incredible, Joe.
So, yes, I am super happy with that. But I also, my wife and I have a multi-year plan. So this is just the start. But yeah, I came back from Dragon Con super motivated, wanting to lose weight. And a lot of that, not even for the weight aspect, mostly because of things that my weight was limiting me from doing. It wasn't even about being big or how I looked or anything like that. It was impacting my daily life.
Yeah.
And so the how do I lose weight? One of the things that was crucial for me is when I came home and told my wife I wanted to lose weight, she immediately said, "Me too." And immediately we were in it together.
Yeah.
And there have been so many times in the past where one of us has been wanting to lose weight and the other one hasn't, or vice versa. And it makes it hard.
Mhm.
It really does, because you'll see them over there eating whatever they want, and you're like, getting the hangry on.
Yeah.
And so having both of us in it together has made a huge difference. And one of the other things that has really helped is daily weigh-ins. A lot of people say only weigh in like once a week, once a month, whatever. Personally, I've really liked the daily weigh-ins. Now, if you are weighing in daily, know that it will fluctuate a lot, even if you are eating as you're supposed to. Yeah, exactly. Jaggedy.
Yeah.
But if you do it consistently, the jaggedy will go do.
Yeah.
And so I actually like seeing it go up and down, because when the scale goes up, because I've got that history, I'm like, it always comes back down.
Yeah.
Even on, like, there was one of my kids' birthdays. I knew that I ate too much, but in addition to eating too much, you've got to also at least for me, for losing weight is very mental for me.
Yeah.
It's not just what you consume, what you exercise, anything like that. So for me, it's very mental. And so my weight showed like a 5-pound gain. I didn't actually gain 5 pounds. Eating sugar and carbs or too much salt will cause you to retain water weight, and it will spike you up, but you didn't really gain that weight. Just like where sometimes the converse happens. If you exclude those from your diet, the water weight will go away, but you haven't truly lost all of that weight either.
Yeah.
And so from a cerebral standpoint, that has really helped my journey, especially when I see a severe drop. I'm like, okay, I will probably bounce back up because I didn't really lose that much. I just was really good about staying away from, salt, sugar, carbs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that has been a huge help. And people are constantly like, what did you do? What did you do? there's not a trick to losing weight, not really. People that I know how nice it is to think take the easy way out. Uh, You you cut back what you eat. You have to
Yeah.
change your diet.
Yeah. Kurt
I've
taught us
heard,
that for
yeah,
sure.
Kurt lost 160 pounds through dedication.
Mhm.
Um, and it I so I do not want to speak ill of anyone who has weight loss surgery or uses medicine or anything like that. You do what you need to do. But for me, I didn't want to go that route, mostly because I knew, and I've seen it too many times in like in my own family. My brother had weight loss surgery, and he is now bigger than he was before it. I mean,
Yeah.
it took years and years because he didn't really change his lifestyle. And so I knew if I wanted this to be long lasting, I needed to create discipline in myself,
Yeah.
and actually make life changes. Whereas when he had the surgery done, right off the get go, he was pushing the boundaries of what he could and could not eat. Even though the doctor was telling him to avoid certain stuff, he was still pushing those boundaries.
Because you haven't changed
And
your habits at all.
yeah,
And there's nothing stopping you from eating this stuff other than feeling bad, but you're
yep.
used to feeling bad. So you can't
But
tell the difference.
But then I've seen plenty of people who have used the 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 weight loss drugs or the surgery, and they have made those changes and they've allowed it to be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
My mom did that. She had a gastric bypass. She lost the weight and she kept it off because
Mhm.
she continued to eat right and she exercised. Now,
Discipline.
I have heard something that stuck with me a long time ago is diet controls weight, exercise controls fitness, and
Yeah.
you cannot outrun a bad diet.
That's interesting. That's a
Because
good point. You know how
it,
many calories are in a bag of M&Ms?
yeah,
250. You know how long it takes to run off 250 calories? It takes like 30 minutes on the treadmill. It's
yep,
absurd.
yep. And so uh, uh, those couple of statements are basically how my philosophy for weight loss. I
Yeah.
in fact it was only within like the past 2 months where my wife and I really introduced exercise. We were focused on the diet changes, which I think helped a lot because I've gone completely all in, done all the changes, and going from nothing to 100%, I would burn out inevitably.
Yeah.
And so getting the diet under control, getting those changes done, and then incorporating and fine tuning along the way, I think has also had a profound impact on longevity.
Mhm.
Um, finding to be completely honest, the first step, if people are trying to lose weight, it should be education,
Yeah.
learning, actually paying attention to how many calories are in everything. Um, so like for instance, my wife got some little debbies for the kids the other week, and we were looking at the calories on them. An oatmeal cream pie, delicious, wonderful, love them.
Mhm.
170 calories. Okay,
But it's
that's
oatmeal, Joe. It's
no.
oatmeal.
So
It's good for you.
I had I've had a couple of oatmeal cream pies since we've had them, and I've still been
Yeah.
losing weight because I'm sacrificing calories
Something else.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
But 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 180 calories. Two
Wow.
tablespoons of peanut butter has more calories than an oatmeal cream pie.
But it's all protein
Is it
versus the
though?
sugar. I mean, I know
I
people who use
no
it
no
for
no
protein. Yeah.
no. I will not disagree that peanut butter from a nutritional standpoint is better.
Mhm.
And as I continue to lose weight, I'm sure I will need to pay more attention to the macros and everything.
Yeah.
I have put an emphasis on protein,
Mhm.
just in general. Um, and one of my go-to meals that I probably have 4 or 5 times a week for lunch is a Greek salad.
Oh
I
yeah.
just lettuce, imitation crab, feta cheese, Kalamata olives, and a Greek vinaigrette. And yeah,
Look at
super tasty.
you. Like a
But
chef.
not everyone likes salad. And even if you do like salad, those dressings will kill you. So
Yeah.
many calories. So
Oh yeah, dressings are
um
rough.
and that's why earlier I said one of the first things you do, and it's a continuous thing as you go, is education, learning what has how many calories and things like that. Um, so we've found a couple of different brands of salad dressings that have zero or close to zero calories. Now they're not going to be the best tasting things, but what you do is you find the substitutions that you can live with. And
Mhm.
so we've had different things we've bought, we've tried, and we're like, no, no, that does not work for us. And other
Like
things we're like,
zoodles, zucchini noodles?
yeah,
Never.
I've done that. No, thank you.
It doesn't work.
But whereas other things were like, okay, no, yeah, this it's not great, but it's livable. I can live with
Yeah.
that. Um, and so we've slowly found different various substitutions that are good enough.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, one of the biggest eye openers is, to be completely blunt, how little the body actually needs to survive.
1 cup of food a day.
Oh
1 cup of
man.
food a day is how much you actually need to run the machine.
Oh man. Well, and, my wife and we've watched. I don't know. I'm guessing you've never seen it, but the History Channel has a show called Alone,
I have
and
not
it's
watched it, but I've heard of it.
okay. So it's a survival thing where really, when you boil it down, once the shelter's up, it's whoever can starve the slowest. Um, is what. And they drop a ton of weight, but it shows what they're eating, and they're really not eating much, but they're still alive. And
Yeah.
um, granted, people do get pulled off the show for medical reasons because they get
Oh, they
dangerously
get
low.
diarrhea and stuff. It's awful. Or
Oh yeah,
don't get diarrhea. They get the opposite. They just There was
yeah.
one show I watched where a lady didn't poop for 18 days, and
Oh yeah.
they told her if you don't go tomorrow, you have to leave. Like you're in dangerous territory. So she was
Oh
like
yeah.
drinking hot water and just mixing up weird leaves and stuff until she finally went. It's like I get to
Oh.
stay, and everybody cheered. I was like, that had to feel good.
I went poo.
I went poo.
What an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, it it's there's in my opinion, and people can disagree with me if they want, there is no secret formula to weight loss. It's reducing the calories and finding what works for you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because my wife and we talked about it. We considered doing some of the different fad diets, doing keto or whatever, and we're
Hmm.
just like, if we want this to be something in the long run, I don't want anything to be fully off the table.
Yeah.
If it's something that we want, we can budget our calories for it,
Yeah.
but I don't want anything to be off the table. There will be days when we're like, okay, we don't need to go ham, but we're not gonna stick to the diet. We'll make it up, over the coming several days or whatever.
Yeah.
So like with the birthday that I went to, I had a couple
Mhm.
of pieces of pizza. I had a little bit of cake. I had too much.
It's a
But
party. It's a
exactly.
birthday party. Yeah.
And I think also finding times where you can, within reason, and I don't even want to call it going off the diet. I call it budgeting
Mhm.
the diet. There are times when monetarily you budget a little too much. You spend a little too much.
Yeah.
But as long as you make up the difference, you're not going to go into debt.
Yeah.
So,
What was your relationship to food? How would you define prior to this journey, or even still? Because I think once you have a relationship with food, I think it's where it's like a rubber band. It wants to pull you back. Like, was it like I eat my feelings? My family was heavily food oriented. Like, where did you come from in that sense?
I just never thought about calories. I just
Didn't think about it.
and
Yeah.
that looks tasty. Let's
So
have it.
it's a combination of your genetics don't want to let go of the fat you're
I,
eating,
I
and you're just not caring, paying
this
attention
might
to it.
be a hot take, but
Yeah.
I think people overinflate the role of genetics in weight.
Really?
I personally feel that it's more learned behavior,
Hmm.
learned that when it comes to food, than it is genetics. Now, I'm not saying that genetics don't play a role,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, sure.
I think genetics play a bigger role in how your body carries weight than how much you weigh.
That makes sense.
Um, Now there are exceptions to that. There are medical conditions that drastically impact your weight.
Thyroidism,
Yes.
hypo, whatever.
So I don't want to discount those, but in my personal opinion, and I am always open to hearing um people correct me with factual information. I
Sure.
am more than willing to accept new facts and redefine my thinking. But I in my personal opinion, I think people overinflate genetics when it comes to weight. And I think too many people use it as an excuse for their weight
Yeah.
instead of analyzing their own behaviors that got them there.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. The behavior thing, because I've known people that were heavier that would go to the doctor, and the doctor would typically say, "Well, you're not sleeping well because you're snoring because you have a weight problem," and then they immediately get ticked to the doctor and they want a new one because they are
Yep.
healthy heavy, and just all the science disagrees with the idea of, like, I mean, we've got way too much behind heavy. I mean, not all heaviness is the same unhealthy, but the weight on your lungs and the weight in your face and everything else that could cause apnea, sleep apnea, or
So
other, like, there's a correlation.
from a fitness standpoint, I actually believe you can be fit
Hmm.
and overweight
Yeah.
from a fitness standpoint. Now, would you have better fitness if you lost weight? I do believe that as well. But I think there are people who can be fit and overweight. I mean, there's plenty of athletes that if you look at a BMI chart, they're obese, but
Oh,
they are
BMI is
amazing.
basically
Yes,
trash. We know
yes.
that. Yeah.
But I mean, I think as a general guideline, and maybe I'll change my opinions as I get to a so I'm not obese.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, right now my goal, my initial goal is to be overweight. And
Yeah.
it's fun. It's funny saying that because I am obese, but
Mhm.
my goal is to get to overweight. Um, I
And that
would
might
need
be where you're happy though, because, like, if we do look at BMI, my optimal BMI would have me looking like a skeleton. I think it wants me at like 172. I'm 6 foot tall. And it wants
yeah
me like in the 170. I would look sick.
my the upper end of healthy is
Mhm.
for me is like 162 for my height.
Yeah. And I
Let's
think it
see.
wants you, like, to not have muscle on your body, because I feel the best. Like, I've been in the 220s forever. I think my body just wants to be there now. I do think that once you've established a weight, your body typically wants to go back there. Like, its desire is to be where it's always been, or it's like,
Yeah.
I read an article about that years ago. I don't know if it was ever debunked, but it seems to make sense to me because I always rebound to the 220s. I can't go higher. I can't get any lower. I'm always back in that spot when I fall off the wagon, and I've fallen off many times because I've tried to be healthy, but I asked the relationship to food question. Like, growing up, my family didn't talk about food. Like, food was an inconvenience because it got in the way of activities we wanted to do. Oh, we gotta go
Yep.
figure out dinner now. Like, where my wife's family, a whole different situation. When they get done with breakfast, well, what would you like to have for dinner tonight? Like, they haven't even cleaned the dishes, and they were talking about what the next meal was going to be. So it's a whole different thing. Where my mom hated to cook, So she was just like, I'm going to ignore this until it's time. It's time for dinner.
Until we got to figure it out.
Yeah, until
Yeah.
we're forced into eating. So I don't think about food that often. I wait till like I have to figure it out and then I eat it. But I'm not a huge snacker either. It's just I might make not the best food decisions for breakfast, lunch, and dinner because I did wait till the last minute to figure it out. But I don't snack in between typically because I'm not worrying about it.
Snacking will get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I've lost 100 pounds, and I would need to lose about another 100 to be considered overweight.
Wow.
So,
I mean, but you're like you said, it's a journey, and
Yeah.
you've set some good guardrails and habits for yourself.
My wife and I have planned out our goal weights up through the end of 2027.
That's awesome.
So I currently, and it might change, but currently, I would like to see how I feel at the upper end of healthy BMI.
Yeah.
So in 2.5 years, I would like to be there.
Do
So
you
that's
journal?
my current goal. Not really.
Because so here's the reason I ask is because you're gonna get to that goal weight.
I don't.
Yeah, because you're gonna get to that goal weight and you're gonna forget how it felt to be where you are now. Like that, you might semi remember, but I tell people this when they're gonna have a kid too. Anytime you start off on a journey, write down how you feel. Write down how you feel at that moment, at that weight. Write all the stuff down. I can't do this. I want to do this. I can't do this. I want to do this. I felt like crap this evening. I felt, those kinds of things. Because when you hit that goal weight, you want to be back and you want to read that journal entry and be like, holy cow, I had forgotten where I was. I mean, and you and I are audio people. If you don't like to write, give yourself a 10-minute podcast of yourself.
That's true.
Like a diary of just telling. And I think we can't properly gauge where we get if we can't really remember, because everybody's got rose-colored glasses to a degree. Like you're always going to look back and see like something better or something like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Like, no, it was. You've just forgotten.
So I was pushing 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I was to the point where I could just barely, and if I stretched real hard, get the back end loops of my belt when I would try to put it on. So I was to the point where I was putting my belt onto my pants before I would put my pants on.
Yeah, you were changing your life to fit how
Yes.
you were. Yeah.
So I mean that's one of the least embarrassing aspects
Sure.
of things that were issues, and there's stuff that larger people don't want to talk about.
Absolutely.
I mean, even when it comes to showering yourself properly,
Mm-hmm.
you can't reach everything to clean it properly because you're so big, and 400 pounds. I don't think I ever actually made it to 400 unless I was. I know that one of my doctor's visits with clothes on and everything,
they always bump you up higher than you are.
And so I weighed in once at a doctor's visit with clothes on and everything at like 404.
Yeah,
that was the highest I ever saw on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm below 300. So
yeah,
I am very, very happy with that. And I anticipate, just like Kurt had to, that once I get there, I'll need loose skin surgery.
Yeah.
So my wife and I are currently working on paying off some credit card debt, but after that, we need to start saving for loose skin surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be, I guess, in 3.5 years. Because once you've stabilized your weight, they want you to be at about that weight for about a year. At least this is my understanding, before they consider loose skin surgery, because they want to see how much your body will
reabsorb or come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The older you get, the harder it is for your body to get back where it wants to go to.
Yep. So I assume I will need to. My younger sister, she had I don't know if it was the sleeve or the gastric, but she had one of those, and she lost a bunch of weight, and she's kept it off. But she went she went down to Colombia to get loose skin surgery, and she ended up getting loose
Oh
skin
yeah, the
surgery
arms. Yeah.
under her arms and on her tummy, and so she's got big old scars on both of her arms and everything. But she is very happy with it. I This is a bit insensitive to me in hindsight, of me in hindsight, but I kept telling her, just make sure you come back with all your organs. And I'm like, she's got to already have some anxiety about going to another country that she's never been to with people that she's never been around, going under the knife
Yeah.
in these. I don't know how sketchy the place was. I have no idea. And so, in hindsight, that wasn't something that I needed to add on to her anxiety.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did joke with her. I'm like, just make sure you come back with all your organs. You don't need to be like Charlie the Unicorn.
Yeah, because there's no recourse. Like, once you leave the country with your surgery done, like, I mean, if it screws up, you took a gamble. That's terrifying.
Yeah, I think she flew in, slept, had the procedure, slept, flew home. Like,
wow, that would be a painful flight.
Yeah. So
good for her though. I mean, I'm glad she's happy.
Yeah. So she's doing real good. So, but yeah, and that, like I said, there are. I don't discourage you from losing weight however you need to. I just encourage you to make sure that if you are getting assistance through surgery or the weight loss drugs, that you take a real look on how you want your life to be moving forward. Because if you revert back, your weight will revert back too.
Yeah.
And so, and that yo-yoing is not good for your body either. So,
if you're married, drag your spouse through it with you, because you can't do it. We've done Whole30 twice, and the only times we've done it and been successful with that diet was together, because it's impossible to do it by yourself. Like, impossible. But I've never felt better in my life than when I'd been through it.
Yeah, because Kurt, before he passed, was working on what was that? Something 75.
75 hard.
Yeah.
75 hard. Yeah.
So, yeah. So
that's a tough one. That's a diet plus a mental exercise, because that's exercise twice a day, read a book a week. Like, that one's about more than just weight loss. That's getting your life right.
Yeah, that's a whole lifestyle thing.
Lifestyle change, yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, like, one of the first things you do is you drop all alcohol and stuff like that.
Yeah, no alcohol. You drop screen time down for before bed. Like, a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's called 75 hard for a reason.
Yeah, it ain't easy. So, before we move on, I just want to say one more thing. If you are considering weight loss, just know it's what Kurt would have wanted.
Yeah. Go Grinders.